I'm going to show you the best class for running the Tanto 22 in Black Ops 6. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to go through all the attachments and everything else that we're going to do here. So go to the gunsmith, obviously. If you don't know the bottom right, you toggle details. That stuff's helpful. So I highly recommend having the 8 attachments so you can have an optic. You don't have to if you don't want to, but for this particular build, we're going all in on the Tanto because it has good enough recoil that you can use it at mid-range. But if you're going to use this build, you're going to want to stay in close range as much as possible, close to mid-range. If you do want to build that you can use on long range, then you're going to have to give up the attachments and get an overkill instead, and then just have a second gun for the longer ranges, because you're not going to want to use the Tanto beyond maybe 20 meters, maybe 30 max, but you don't really want to shoot beyond that if you can help it. So we're going to go ahead and go to the gunsmith. So I'm just going to go ahead and put on the Merlin Mini, but you can put on whatever scope or optic that you like. It's up to you. Then for the muzzle, you're going to want to roll the compensator unless you specifically for your playstyle want the suppressor, like if you're going to be hiding and never appear on the minimap. Otherwise, if you're running in guns blazing, you're going to use compensator. After that, we got to look at the barrel. Generally, the best option is going to be the long barrel because it increases the effective range to 8.3 meters, which is up from the original 6.3. So it just increases that 3-shot kill range, which is what you really want with the Tanto. It does also increase the medium damage ranges as well. If for some reason you want something else, though, you could try to get the reinforced barrel for a compromise or the gain twist barrel for more bullet velocity. If you don't know, bullet velocity will, in a way, increase your accuracy at longer ranges because it'll decrease the time it takes to travel to the target. But also, it actually increases your time to kill by, I think in the case of this one, by 16 milliseconds, which is not that noticeable, but I mean, if you want to. But I do recommend getting the long barrel just for the more kills, more 3-shot kills at more ranges. As for the under barrel, the pretty standard thing is to go vertical foregrip, but also if you want to be more aggressive, then you're going to want to go with the Ranger foregrip instead, so that way you can sprint faster, get around the map faster. Other than that, these other options aren't really that good for this, so it's either Ranger foregrip or vertical foregrip. I'm going to say go for Ranger foregrip. I'm making this build kind of for the play aggressive play style, but if you're more passive, maybe you don't need it. As for the mag, I think probably you're going to want to have an extended mag 1 because there's no downsides other than the reload speed. And the last thing you want is to get caught out without ammo, even though it's a 3-shot. Now, if you want, if you're trying to do this with only 5 attachments, I wouldn't put a magazine on at all because you're trying to 3-shot kill people, so you don't need that many shots. But if you already have the 8 attachments, I mean, you might as well just put it on. Then for the rear grip, there's really only 2 good options, the quick draw grip or the ergonomic grip if you have it unlocked. The ergonomic grip is good if you're more aggressive because you can pull out your weapon faster after sliding by a lot. It halves the time from 320 milliseconds to 160, which is a lot. So if you're finding yourself sliding in and shooting, you want ergonomic. Otherwise, you get the quick draw. If you're just never doing that and you're mainly just walking around a corner and aiming normally, then quick draw is going to be the ideal. Decrease that aim down sight speed as much as possible to increase your time to kill. I wouldn't worry too much about sprint to fire speed because you still got to aim down sight. Sprint to fire only really matters as far as I'm aware unless if you're sprinting and stopping and hip firing, which usually is not what you're going to want to end up doing 9 out of 10 times. So it's kind of useless, in my opinion, in this setup at least. So yeah, I'm going to say ergonomic grip. I don't have it unlocked right now, but that's going to be your play. But if not, get the quick draw grip. As for the stock, it's really going to be either no stock or you're going to want a balanced stock. So the pros to a balanced stock is you can more easily walk around a corner while aiming down sight. It decreases the time that you're vulnerable before you can see them, so they have less time to react before you start shooting. And then no stock, what the real benefit of this one is you basically no longer have to sprint. So your move speed's up to 6.1, where sprinting is 7. So slightly slower than a sprint, but once you move that fast, if you're in any questionable area at all, there's literally no reason to sprint. You just walk it. And then you just ADS right as you're peeking, just time it correctly, so that way you have the minimum time of coming out from cover before you can fire back, so they don't shoot your shoulder before you even peek, that type of thing. I honestly think no stock is probably the play. But balanced stock is really not that bad of an option because then you can ADS and just walk around a corner while ADS. And I don't know the exact timings. I have to really see because it's like, what's the time your shoulder's exposed versus before you can see and all these things. That's a much harder thing to test, and I don't really have that information right now. But those 2 are the options. We can only have 1 more attachment, so we're going to skip the laser. We're going to go straight to the fire mod. No matter what, you got to get rapid fire. It's like the time to kill in the Tanto is his biggest problem. So people think the Tanto 3, because of Tanto 3 shots, they think it's a fast time to kill. It's actually atrocious. The time to kill is worse than a Model L. The difference is you only got to land 3 shots, so there's less fighting the gun, and that for that recoil, it's purely vertical. So before we talk about the rest of the build, let's take a look at it in the firing range real fast so you can see what I mean about the pattern. So we're going to bring down this. I'm not going to control the gun. I'm just going to shoot. So those are the 3 shots. And as you can see, it's just vertical that you have to control, which that's why people like the Tanto. It's because even though it's really bad, it's basically an SMG that's trying to be an assault rifle. Because it's only 3 shots to kill at closer ranges, you don't have to control as many shots, and it's only vertical recoil, so it's much easier to control that recoil. So that's the big thing there. So back to the loadout, we're going to look at the pistol. I recommend the Grekova, which I have not used very much, but it is basically an SMG. I just need to level this thing up with zombies really bad. But then for this, it would be vertical recoil control, so probably the compensator, unless you want to go with the suppressor. As for the barrel, you probably want the damage range, so you're probably going to want long barrel. And then as for magazine, you're definitely going to think about getting extended mag, but it does decrease the aim down sight speed, so you might be better off with a fast mag, if you get a mag at all. And then for the rear grip, if you want to get one, I would probably just get quick draw grip, or again, we get that, or we get the CQB grip, same situation as the other gun. And then for fire mods, it's really, I mean, it's always recoil springs or rapid fire. If you feel like you need a rapid fire, go for it. If you feel like that's not the issue and you're in trouble controlling it, you get recoil springs. There's really no perfect answer because not all of you are the same skill level. I know some of you out there are literally the top 1%, but most of us are just varying skill levels. So you have to really pick that one according to your skill level. It's not worth having rapid fire. If you're going to be missing the Grekova like crazy, it'd be better to get recoil springs and then just hit a higher accuracy. So that's it for the Grekova. And then for the tactical, you always, you just want stim shot. As of right now, it's preseason. Tomorrow's season 1. They're announced November 13th. As of right now, stim shot's just insanely overpowered. And then Semtex. You can always also go with an impact grenade or a frag if you prefer, but Semtex is the simplest and easiest to get kills with. Field upgrade, if you think you're going to be getting lots of kill streaks, you go for Assault Pack. If you feel like you're just getting farmed all the time or you just have trouble in your games, then you probably just go with a Spring Mine just to, you know, get other random kills. Or if you're a little bit cheeky, get a tactical insertion and try to, like, control where you're going and take, you know, that's for really tactical people. Other than that, these other things aren't really that, none of these are really that insane. Trophy system going to be okay, but usually it's Assault Pack, Spring Mine, or something crazy like a tactical insertion. But if you have something you like, go run that. I mean, you don't have to stick to my build for the field upgrade, really. The field upgrade really is, you know, user's choice. As for the perks, now this is where it really varies based on you. Do you like being a stealth assassin? Do you like not appearing on UAV? Do you like, you know, want your, you know, counter UAVs to never work? Then you're going to go all blue so that you can get recon. And also because these aren't that bad. But if you are someone who's going to run a gun in just like constantly going to fight, you probably want all green. And in that case, you definitely want flak jacket. Absolutely want flak jacket. And then you also want dispatcher for the reduced score cost on score streaks and non-lethal score streaks. And then you would want quartermaster for your equipment to reuse it to come back over time. And then you would have strategist. Now, the reason you do this if you're a run and gun is because if you really believe that you're going to get 5+ kills before dying at least once or twice a match, then you're going to get a bunch of score streaks, which then could lead to more score streaks and could really, you know, get out of hand, which is good. Now, I have seen people run red. I'm not super big on red, but, you know, if you have a red build, then go put on the red perks. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. You can take this build. It's just a platform, a springboard for you guys to jump off of. And then the wild card, you got to go with Gunfighter if you want these attachments. And again, if you are fighting on a longer range map, you probably want to make a second build that's also the Tanto that instead has overkill, and then it has a weapon of your choice for the secondary, the Model L, some kind of assault rifle, a sniper rifle, something for the longer ranges would be a great idea to have that second build. Actually, never mind. I always forget that in this game that you can't have separate attachments or separate builds unless there's some secret I don't know about. So in that case, I would just recommend a second loadout for longer range maps where you just have a different SMG and a medium to long range weapon, or just a normal build with a assault rifle, something like that, because you don't want to be using this on Scud, for example. You don't want to be using this on long range maps. But anyway, that's the build. And this one, in my opinion, is going to be one of the best, if not the best, ways to build your Tanto. But it doesn't stop the Tanto from being honestly kind of crap. But there are some people who just do absolutely crazy with it, so I really can't talk smack. Some people, I don't know how they're so good with the thing. But if you, the whole thing out of Tanto, you believe that you'll be able to hit 95% accuracy in the long run or something since you only need 3 shots. If that's the goal, Tanto's one of the best guns in the game because you're hoping that it'll bring you up to a high enough accuracy that makes it insane. But if you assume that your accuracy is always going to be the same across all guns, then suddenly it's not very good, actually, because its time to kill sucks really bad. All right, so we're going to want to get really, really close because you don't want to find yourself at super long ranges. We're open to run into somebody in this and two at the same exact time. That's also probably, yeah, I missed a shot, but Jackal PDW literally kills faster than Tanto, so I would just literally have to react faster or I'd die. Okay. Decent time to kill, easy to control. Bad time to kill versus other SMGs, though. I reacted maybe 50 milliseconds late, wasn't even close before I was just dead. Jackal PDW literally kills about, if it has rapid fire, if we both have rapid fire, Jackal PDW kills 75 milliseconds faster.
Troops in contact. Anytime, any place, asshole. Enemy dispatched.
But compact's better.
I don't do anything for free. Remember that.
Eyes on enemy. Hostile UAV established overhead.
Head down. Sniper.
So my final verdict on the Tanto as a gun, not the build. You know, you can run the best build that you possibly can find for the Tanto. My situation here is that the Tanto as a gun, I would rate a solid 7 out of 10. And the reason I rate that as a 7 out of 10 is because it's, in a way, it's noob friendly because it's easier to aim, but also it's kind of a noob trap because if you ever get really, really, really good at aiming, then you're going to want to run anything but the Tanto. Because people, you know, people will make the argument of like, well, it's different with the primary fire. And just so you know, people who don't know, the rapid fire, what it does is, it depends on the gun, but it basically increases the DPS by about 10%. That's it. So it's really not that crazy. Some guns is 9, some guns is 12, but it's not like one gun is 25, one gun is 5. Like, that's not how it goes. So it's like, I'd rather just have a compact, you know, 'cause like when I was running this in the tests and trying out the Tanto in general in this game, the problem is, hey, they ran up compact and I was closer than 6 meters, then I'd just die. If we have equal skill at aiming, why would you run a Tanto? The compact just insta kills people, you know, like one of those type of situations. And if I'm at longer ranges, why would I fight the recoil of a Tanto, which is not, the recoil's good for SMGs, but it's horrible relative to assault rifles. So it's like, if I'm going to use this thing at longer ranges, I would use the Model L or something else, anything, because then you have like actually no recoil and you have faster time to kill at the longer ranges. So there's better guns. It's just, it's easy to hit the 3-shot for people who are struggling sometimes. For some people, it just works with them. It clicks like that. And if you're one of those people, then it could be a good gun for you. Long term, though, I just can't imagine like in a pro scene this thing being any good because the time to kill is way too slow. And if you have good enough aim, you'd be better off doing a gun that's harder to control, that has way higher DPS. The thing literally is the slowest time to kill of all the SMGs by a decent amount too. So again, it's a noob trap, but it's, you know, relatively easy to use. So for the guys, this has been my Tanto class build guide loadout thing. All right, and my overall review for the Tanto as a gun here at the end. And hopefully helped you guys. If you really want to run the Tanto, hopefully the setup helped you. I think the setup was pretty good. When I was using it, it was pretty good. The problem was just the gun just lets me down over and over again. But the build itself, I'm pretty happy with. I honestly, me personally, I was struggling to stay alive with this gun because its time to kill is so slow. So I probably would have better off with like a spring mine than the assault pack or a tactical insertion or anything, honestly, than the assault pack. But if you're farming and for some reason you're never dying, then yeah, assault pack's great. Just keep it going, you know. But overall, guys, now hopefully you have a better idea of what you should build the Tanto with, and just in general whether or not you should use the Tanto in Black Ops 6.